just last night. You've been blocked. We got some apologies that need to happen around this bitch, but we think we're gonna come sit in Nitra box and sip Crown Royal with your toes curled up. Fuck that. No, sir. No, you're not. You're not coming over here twirling in line and no. Shit, just because a bitch don't talk about shit don't mean a bitch don't forgot. No, hell no. And that's what you gotta know your worth. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Treat yourself in life. Make motherfuckers treat you right. Shit, for real. And that's a motto of mine. You gonna treat me right or you gonna get the fuck around me. You're not running over me, period. Shit, bitch, you know what it feel like to be in a domestic violence situation? And once I came out of that, I made up in my mind, it'll never be another nigga treat me wrong. Never. Another man will never put his hands on me like that without being hooked up to a bunch of tubes. You're not doing it. And I can't stand you disrespectful ass men out here on this internet. Can't stand you. A bunch of softies. Pounce on women. A bunch of soft ass niggas. Period. Barker, that includes you. Mama used to tell me a nigga was an ignorant person. They didn't have a specific color. So I'm talking to you too. Please know that when I say the N-word, it's for anybody. My mama said it wasn't for a specific. If you're ignorant, you're ignorant. Barker, get a job. Get out of Dr. Dutch's inbox. Please, please. That's how I was raised. Period. Oh, child, somebody had to say it. Anyway, I'm about done with my lashes, bright. I really don't rush me. I was taking my time. Y'all done had a hell of a morning. I was taking my time because I know when I open up the doors up here, I damn near won't get nothing to say. And then y'all act like Nitra be doing all the talking. No, I barely get words up here. Barely. But when I want to be heard, but I'm not for the sugarcoat it. I'm not. And I might lose some people today along the way. Oh, hallelujah. Sure. Some of you scary anyway. I be like, damn, they'll do that, man. Yeah, some of y'all scary anyway. I ain't riding no car with you, because I don't know what you'll do. Shit, come out the store with a brown paper bag with somebody else's money in it. I'm not no getaway nothing. Can't trust you. Can't trust you. So anyway, yeah, Nitra done stared up and woke up the streets today. Y'all keep my name in your mouth anyway. Shit, might as well add to it. That's how I feel. I said what I said. I meant every word I said. Now let me get some lipstick and stuff on. So when I come out, I can be all right. Yeah. Because I know y'all probably streaming, looking, eyes bugged, bunnets dirty, ain't brushed your teeth, kids' noodles still sitting in the microwave from yesterday. Go add some water to them, and it's just sickening. So let me hurry up. My Lord here tonight. Yep. Meant it. And I'm still not looking at the screen, y'all, so forgive me. I know y'all ready for me to fight back with you in the comment section, but I might not. You know, I will ignore comments too. Read them and ignore them. I live downstairs in the comment section. So before you come in here and all caps talking shit to me, I'm going to read it and ignore it. And they'll tell you that. Please. You're not wasting my time. Yes, Lord. Woo. Shout out to FOE last night. We did our big one. That was a good series. You hear me? Well, we did that, didn't we? And imagine Dr. Dutch not being here. But y'all say, y'all just, and that's disrespectful to FOE too, because listen here, God be blessing us. God be blessing us. He sure do. He blessed me and I blessed right back out. So y'all got to put respect on FOE name. Stop giving people names over here. I understand that Some people do carry a lot. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You can tell some people are bigger gifters. But y'all, I'm the type of person, I can turn these gifts off. And then let's see who gonna be here. Not y'all. Y'all will stop pocket watching. The ones that's pocket watching.
Okay, so wait 1 second there, Krista.
For two to
So what is any different what she said to her supporters and what I said to mine? Thank you, Ari. What is the discrepancy in what she's saying and what I said over here when she was here? Why are we equating Dr. Duchess solely to money, but saying we're not equating Dr. Duchess solely to money? Help me understand that. The entire conversation that we had over here was about mending things with people she actually cares about. Minus, her and LT situation. She cares about Roro, and believe it or not, she cares about Dat Boy. She's just pissed as fuck at him. So all we did was let her be herself. Just talk to us, be honest, because can't nobody do shit to you, which is our motto here. I'm glad you agree. Never once did we talk about her money with regards to any support over here. Never once did I tell her to gift me. Never once did I even cozy up to her. In fact, we were quite literally bickering and arguing initially before we got on the same page of, we got the same personality of fuck it. And we're going to fricka when we need to. You know what I'm saying? What is Nitra's idea of what happened over here? That's what I want to know. What is she thinking happened over here? What is she thinking happened over here? Because the facts remain, nothing about money was talked about, except for with regards to the situations that are already happening on the app. Nothing to do with me. I'm very well supported. I have an amazing tribe. I love y'all. Y'all have supported me whether I press my button in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the night, in the dead of the night. I have a great support system over here built on honesty, realness, bitch, community. We all work together. There ain't no one baller in here. There's a bunch of ballers in here. A lot of ballers in here. And everyone has a voice. And nobody really disrespects each other. I've never had my moderators fight or argue with one another unless it's some like personal shit in between them. You get what I'm saying? They made their own personal bond. But I've never had bickering and arguing within my supporters here. We all be vibing and having a good time and watching the show. Because I always tell y'all to just sit back and be entertained. Don't be a part of the show, just be entertained, because you got to understand the moment you become a character, shit like this happens. Go ahead, Polka. I'm just like confused at what she thinks happened over here.
You're not confused, Susu. You know exactly. You know what's going on with Nietzsche. And one thing that anybody with eyes can see is there is a difference between the creators and how they interact with their supporters when it is the foundation is money driven, right? One observation that I had made earlier when we got to experience the other side of Dr. Duchess in your live, I had a hypothesis. I felt like the creator in which we had associated her with, or that we were most commonly seeing her with, benefited or had an invested interest in Dr. Duchess being at odds with other spaces and other people. And so in her space, she facilitated, Dr. Duchess kind of with her back against the wall and always on the defense, right? And so with Dr. Duchess always on the defense, everybody else got to see, I don't want to say the worst side, but just like the more unpleasant side, right? And here we actually got
Right.
to
She has to turn
heal.
up on their ass. She got to cuss them out. Like in her
Exactly.
words, she got a code switch on these hoes.
Exactly. And so when the foundation of the interaction is based in money, that creator has an invested interest to facilitate Dr. Duchess being mainly on her side. Because if most of that app or people in these spaces reject you, don't want you around, they're argumentative towards you, then what are you going to do? Dr. Duchess is going to dig in deeper in her position. She's going to be sniping people. She's going to be, you know what I mean? Like really throwing her weight around, right? And who benefits? The creator. And so that was just like an epiphany that I had this morning. Like maybe, it is
But
the
wait right there,
environment.
right? Because I want to run something past you, Poca. So as long as we've been on Nature Talk, doing our thing in the window, watching, right? As long as we've been on here,
Mm-hmm.
she's only ever really defended a small number of people, and those are like her day ones and stuff, right? Now, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying nothing bad about her defending Dr. Duchess. I want her to. That's what she should do. Somebody's your supporter, you feel like they're being wrong, defend them, right? I don't have a problem with that. But it gets to a point where it feels disingenuous.
Exactly.
Because if there's nothing wrong with what happened here, then, and she's saying there was nothing wrong in what happened here except for her issue with that boy, which happened prior to me, and it's a layered situation, and it's a situation in which she's not ready to be cool with him. He's not ready to let things go either. And all I was trying to do is mediate it so they can probably get on the same page, like I did for LT, like I did for Roro, right? If there was nothing wrong in what happened over here, then why are you trying to pigeonhole her? You want her to take on your beef. And the beef that you have with me is one that you initiated with me. You started talking shit about Susu for no reason. 4 times before I ever responded. You talk shit about Susu's husband. You talk shit about Susu's ethnicity. You talk shit about Susu's pregnancy. You talk shit about Susu's past transgressions. You talk shit about Susu's looks. All of those things happened before I ever clapped back at you and started speaking on you and your marriage and your children and your past and your family. And so you want to victimize yourself and act as though because I came harder at you, I'm the bad guy. But I kept sending people to you over and over and over, telling you, I don't have no problem with you. We're not talking shit about you over here. We like you. We think you're entertaining. People are telling her,
We
people on
keep
her
saying you
panel
like
are
her.
telling her, hey, Susu never did nothing to you. And that bitch Susu. And da-da-da-da-da. And you talking about me. Everyone knows I only respond. Because my natural disposition is not to go around fucking with people. Because I don't like to be fucked with. But trust and believe when you put your mouth on my family, put your mouth on my husband, my father, my mother, my children, my pregnancy, my lifestyle, everything, my ethnicity, my religion, my culture, and all of those things. You think I'm not going to clap back, bitch? You think I'm some weak ass hoe? I don't give a fuck if you was 100 years older than me. I'm going to say something to fuck back. And I know which card she's going to pull. She's going to say, she talked about my husband. She said this about my husband. She talked about my mom. She said this about my mom. But she's never going to take accountability for, well, I'm lying. She apologized and took accountability for what she did and starting it with me on Bella's Live a couple months ago, if y'all remember that. So if you had already apologized to me and you took accountability and you said you want to move forward, why do you have such an issue with me? You already took the accountability for the issue. So my thing is this, the defense thing and fighting for Duchess. Do you think that, and I already know the answer and I know you do too, but I just, I'm going to run it past you. Do you think that is genuine the protection that she has for her, or the call that
Absolutely
she made
not.
to get her down? Do you really think she cared about her health when she called her?
Absolutely not. They're treating her like she's a commodity. They are not humanizing her, and that's the thing that is really bothering me, because this is some of the worst manipulation. It is some of the fakest stuff. Let a thing be a thing. You're making an issue and you are being hypocritical when you allow and you facilitate something in your platform. And then when she goes to another platform and something similar, but not even really similar, because I'm going to say, from my observation, the live this morning was much more positive than other spaces where I have seen her when other people are interacting with her. And so for you to paint the picture, but you know what, not even just to paint the picture, because it's a blatant
I have to
lie.
cut you off
What?
because you're right. I have to cut you off because something just happened after she left my live. You let Potts come up there, lie on her, say that it's some sort of experiment that him and her are in on, and you did not drop him, you did not mute him for lying on Dr. Duchess, knowing that Dr. Duchess and Potts do not get along at all, and that he antagonizes her everywhere she goes. If it was true protection, would you have let Potts stay on your
Even
panel
up there, exactly.
and say all of those things he said and make it out to seem like they're in cahoots together? I don't even know if Dr. Duchess heard that. Did you hear that, Doc? Did you hear what, hey, Tanny, did you hear what happened over there with Potts on the panel? And Potts was lying, saying that you guys are in some sort of social experiment together and you guys are here to fuck with everyone and cause problems and things like that. And she just let him stay up there and spew all that. She was in the comments. She heard it. She was in the comments. If you truly were protecting her, why would you allow this man to get up there and lie on her
Because surely
and
that would
troll
put her on
her
defense.
and antagonize her in your space? It's supposed to be a safe space over there. I know he was lying. I know he was lying, Doc. But if it was about protection and caring about your health, then why actively allow somebody to troll her?
And you know, something else I
And you
wanted
know
to
that
say,
her blood
sis.
pressure is high and you told her to take some rest. Why would you let that happen? That's my question. Go ahead, Poker.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I think I lost my train of thought. Okay, no. What I wanted to say also was, um, see, the thing is, though, when Duchess said she was a Gemini, I got it. June 5th. Okay. And so these people better be careful with her in terms of trying to control her, because she not stupid. She gonna let them play in her face and she gonna watch it. But when she clock in and she clock out, it's gonna be ugly. She's already made it clear that she is her own person. She will go where she want to go. She's going to do what she wants to do, right? The worst thing you can do is challenge. I know for myself what I want to do as a Gemini woman. You hear me? Because I'm going to show you, right? So, the same reason that she had a problem with that boy, where he presented protection, but it was really to weaponize her to snatch the rug from under Diamond, the same thing is happening with Nitra. You're playing like you're so protective, but really you're weaponizing her to take shots at you, at Susu, right? Because she has an issue with you. Duchess knows
I heard
how
it when
she
she
felt.
said I just ruined somebody's day. I just made somebody mad or something like that.
Yeah, and look at how she
I just made
spiraled
somebody mad
when
or I ruined her day or something. That's crazy.
look at
That's
how she
crazy.
spiraled when Duchess did not get down when she told her to. She went on that whole rant. Your money, this, your. Why does it even have to be about money? Why does it have to be about any of that? If you genuinely have her in your space because you enjoy her in your space and it's not about money, why you all everything, the focus of your whole argument is money, this, money, that, gift this, gift that? How about her laugh? How about people were actually complimenting and enjoying her laugh? How about people were actually saying, oh, we actually like her. Oh, I see where she's coming from when she got to explain the situation with her being a black grandma. A lot of people were like, oh, okay, I get it. Or, you get what I'm saying? Like we got to humanize her in here. She's a commodity. commodity for you guys. She's a money bag for you guys. Over
And
here,
it's
where her money is not
disgusting
needed and
because
her
you're trying to
presence was
flip it
appreciated.
and do the reverse thing and act as though we see her that way, and I don't. I don't.
Exactly.
This platform
Exactly.
has never been built off of the money, but my supporters care about me, and so they support me because they understand that this is entertainment. I'm here entertaining y'all. So the incentive is that they support me if they can. I don't want to call out names, but there are many people in here who simply only get their heart me. And I still fuck with them. They still fuck with me. And I talk to them and acknowledge them in the comments because they're humans and they support me. Their view adds to my engagement.
Can we clock in on how you cultivate a space, as you mentioned earlier, where and I was telling my husband about this, that it's actually a very fun space to be in as an adult because it's not full of drama, and we really, like, we be investigating, we be coming up with our own little theories. Like, it's really fun, and like you mentioned, it's not attacking each other. How many of these hosts and creators can actually say that they have a space that is entertaining when it's not just like boring, mundane topics, right? This really is an interactive live. You know what I'm saying? You had when we was doing the Miesta thing, we up here researching. You done got. I felt like we were. And you remember, in Men in Black, how the detectives have like that room and somebody's on a computer doing research here, and this person is. That's what it felt like, and you know what I mean? It's just like good, clean fun. They can't do that. They're not doing that. I mean, they could do it, but they're so focused on arguing and beefing that they're missing the actual plot. You know what I'm saying? So that's okay. People are going to see for themselves, and the energy never lies, right? The cards are going to
Never
fall where they may, but
I'm just
just be
so like,
careful.
she constantly disappoints me because I feel like just be real one day and be like, did you have fun over there? That's what's up. Like the call in and get down and thank you, Saint Baby. It's just like you actually don't know what
Thank you,
even
Saint.
happened. Like, and that's what I was trying to tell Dr. Duchess about Bones. People will come and tell you their side or their opinion perception of what happened in a space and run it to you. And if you take that as fact, you're silly. You got to go listen to things and read things and do things for yourself, or else somebody will use you as a puppet. And there's many people that have been used as a puppet in this situation. And she clearly stated she don't want to be used like a puppet. You know what I mean? She don't want to be used in that manner. And she said, for everyone who's streaming, for whoever is listening, I'm saying it now. Nobody tells me where to go. And from here on out, I go wherever the hell I want to go. So why are you now calling this grown woman and telling her to come off of my panel and out of my live as if there was like this? She was having a conversation with that boy. I'm sure her and that boy have had many arguments outside of this space in itself, right?
Hmm.
Only for you to turn around and be on the phone with Bright Eye Rico and say, "Oh, I'm good. I ruined somebody's day or I made somebody mad today." You think I'm mad that you and Duchess have a relationship enough to call her and she respects you enough to listen to your fake advice because you don't really mean that you care about her health. You're trying to get her out of here to shut this down.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Myself, the worst one. What I care about more than anything material is certain virtues. Do not insult my intelligence. That's equivalent to spitting in my face. Okay? Do not insult my intelligence. And she gonna learn. She's gonna learn. She's gonna see.
Yeah, she's not gonna learn. She
Um,
already knows, and that's why people don't give her enough credit. She already knows, and she's already taken in everything, and she already peeps the play, and she already
no, I'm talking
sees
about
what it.
Nitra. I'm talking about Nitra's gonna see
Oh
dealing
yeah.
with Dr. Duchess,
Oh
because
that.
when she says she's a Gemini woman, baby, and she ain't locked that twin up, because she clearly ain't locked that twin up. I done seen her let that twin loose. My twin locked up and gagged. Okay. Um, that's I'm talking about Nitra is gonna learn. When it comes down to playing those type of mind games, just like that boy got to see. right? Because that what he, how she processed his quote unquote protection of her money that she doesn't need, she processed it as manipulation and weaponizing her. Now you're insulting my intelligence. You think I'm stupid. Now I got to handle you, and that's why she said I fricka you because you tried to fuck me. Excuse my French. I'm trying to stop cussing. But what I wanted to say about Nitra is Slim clocked in on her so accurately today when he talked about how impulsive she is. She does not fact check. She takes the bones and she runs with it. And she will talk out the side of her neck, off of wrong information. And she won't, and the thing is, she doesn't apologize. She's not like self aware enough to have the type of people around her, the yes men around her. Like if you're going to have a bunch of yes men around you who are never willing to challenge you, you have to be self aware to be able to hold yourself accountable when you're in the wrong. And she doesn't receive correction from other people. And I saw that even when Phenomenal Ty was trying to correct her one time, and how she rejected it and shut it down. So, this is why we are in the stance that we're in. And I have her blocked because I just don't want that energy. It's disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. Because I actually did like Nitra is entertaining. She's funny. I actually did take a liking to Nitra, a really strong liking to Nitra. But the more I started to see, like for me, the fabric of the person being faulty, I just got to remove myself.
Okay, I'm sorry, can I add my little 2 cents? I had to walk away, but I was listening.
Of course you can.
I think I agree, or not agree, but I understand where you come from and get a lot of the stuff that you just said. But I think for me, is what is the definition, Poca, of an elitist?
Without going to Google, I would say an individual who um, has an established superiority complex based on material gain, intellect. That's without looking for an exact definition. That's off of my brain. I could be wrong.
Okay, off of the top of my brain, that's what I got too when I thought the word, and that's what I think is going on a little bit. I think her ability to hear what Susu has to say, what I've never had a conversation with her, so I can't say she would ever listen to me, but I've watched or now listened to Susu say she's had a conversation. Also, Diamond, she will bow to Diamond. Also, Tanitra. I think her action in doing that, but disposing of the opinions of everybody else, is because of feeling like she's more than them. So why would she listen?
Mm.
I don't know about that.
Let me
I
process.
think she explained it yesterday. It was like she's her only experience on TikTok has been adversarial. It's been politics. It's been blue versus red. You know what I mean? It's been man versus woman. And then in Diamond's Live, it's like the topic is a topic and it's her versus people. So, um,
I'm sorry, Susu, but the way that she disposed of that therapist um,
Mm,
commentary based on just where she stood in education, even though the information was correct,
mm,
told me that she's an elitist. And all the actions thereafter have supported that, such as you've created a friendship with people like that boy, created a whole friendship with them, and would dispose of their words, but allow people like Nitra, you, Diamond, to say the same exact words, and she actually takes them in.
so I don't know if you know about the history with her and that boy, with regards to that boy being upset with Duchess first because of the situation that happened with Priscilla, and she admitted that she could have dealt with that situation better, right? But it was a situation that happened. I don't really want to talk or get into it too deep. I'll tell you maybe later off that. Um,
Okay,
um,
listen, take that boy off the plate. The way that she treated that therapist, who is a college educated, degree carrying, licensed professional,
mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm. I
completely
agree with you
disposed
on
of
that
her
part. I
opinion
didn't even get a chance
based
to
on the
say stuff
fact,
about that therapist, but yes, I agree with that. To still have some sort of respect, regardless of your feelings of hierarchy and education, she's still an established black woman that still deserves respect, um, for being in the field that she is. But
I
Duchess,
agree.
how did you know that? How
how
do
do
I
I
know
know
that
what?
she's
How do who know what?
I
So
don't
I'll
know.
say this. I'll say this. In seeing her interaction with that therapist, I would definitely say, from the clips that I saw, that Dr. Duchess did exhibit elitist behavior in her invalidating that therapist's position based on her education level. And it was incorrect based on the conversation and what that therapist was addressing, right? So that was elitist. What I will also say is, I would have to, after seeing Dr. Duchess and Susu's live yesterday morning, I would have to compartmentalize the elitism for that circumstance as it pertains to professionalism, and maybe when it comes to when she's on a defense against people who are broke. Her words,
No,
not mine.
actually, you don't have to. You actually don't have to compartmentalize. I think that was my point. Is that if even in compartmentalizing, Polka, you're brilliant. Now, I tell you this all the time. Every time we talk, you're one of the smartest people I've met on this app.
Oh,
Even in
thank you.
compartmentalizing, you would then have to open up 15 different compartments because her actions, as far as displaying elitism goes, has happened more than once. Just take, for
Okay,
instance,
so
what you just said. Her
let me pose
ability
a
to
question.
sit, just let me wait, let me finish the sentence.
I'm
Her
sorry, go ahead.
ability to sit with Susu on a panel, even in disagreement, and have a conversation and not completely dismiss and dispose of Susu is another strike that shows her elitism. Because comic cousins and those individuals who come from the comments to get on the panel to discuss with her opinion, even if it is the exact same that came out of Susu mouth, is discredited and thrown away.
And that's why I said our interaction with her and here actually demonstrated the opposite,
Her
because
guard
people
was
were able
down.
to come up.
Right. Right.
Exactly. And so that's why I would have to compartmentalize based on her presentation, because I can't invalidate what I saw and hear solely. So it's like I'm not denying that she has the tendency to be an elitist, right?
Well, she
But I
agreed in the
can't.
comments that it was elitist, so she knows that it was. But I think the circumstances was because she was in defense. She was defending herself, maybe her profession, maybe her words that she used against Tansy. It was a court case, and she was the defendant. So, and she's in defense. So, what would I would want to pose a question? If me and AJ are arguing, and I say, "I'm the queen. I'm that bitch. I'm that girl. Bitch, you ain't shit." Would that be elitist?
That would be no, 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 no. Mm-mm. No, that would not be elitist. I think it's a little different when we it's a little different when I guess it would be if you very clearly had more than I did, I suppose. Yes,
Right.
that would be considered elitist. Yes.
So, have we not done that as well in arguments on this app?
It's a little different when we are in arguments. I think again, I feel like for me in watching all of this play out, there are things that you've told me that you said to her, and there was accountability and acknowledgement that I watched people over on Diamond's Live, and in she completely threw Slim away, and Slim was saying the exact same thing. about accountability that she came over here and was able to take. So I think also for me, I'm able to see it as she's smart enough to know that if someone came on your panel and said your same sentiments, you were going to break it down like a pound and help her be accountable. So instead of treating people the way she treated them on all the other panels, she calmed down a bit. It does not change that the same words were said to her in several other spaces and she disposed of those people immediately. It does not change that.
I
It
think
is
I think
still
I think that
elitist.
therapist caught a mean stray, is what I think. And I think she was already irritated with the court case. Extremely
No, I
irritated.
disagree. As a medical professional, I think that it is disingenuous of me to ever account that type of behavior from another medical professional as a mean
No, I think
stray.
it was
That was
disgusting and it was
disgusting, and it was not a
mean.
stray.
It was
She meant
very
exactly
mean,
what she
girl.
said. Mm-mm.
It's
That
two
was
parts.
disgusting, and
I
it
wanna
wasn't a
complete my
stray.
thought. I
That
wanna
was
complete
head
my
on.
thought, right? I wanna complete my thoughts. Two parts, right? Thank you, Gwenny. Although I did not agree, and when I was watching it, right, I was completely shocked in how she was talking to that therapist, because that therapist was only there because she was asked to be there for her own opinion, right? It was very mean, girl. Although I do although I do believe that she was dead ass wrong for the elitist comments, for the disregard of her education and all of the things, I consider it a stray because she had all this energy worked up from the case, from everything that was happening, and then that happened, and then boom, she went off about that, right? So
Okay.
I have to self reflect and think about how I operate on this app when I have my back against the wall or when a motherfucker's coming for me, right? And I say some very out of pocket things. So why can't I give this lady room to say out of pocket things? I offend people too. So
Susu, can I just drop an idea and you just manifest, listen to this idea?
okay.
I believe what happened with that situation was that somebody sent her and Duchess sent her back. Because you're not going to fight me with somebody without the education that I have. And if you put me on that defense, I'm going to be just as defensive as you're going to come at me. And because I noticed that every time somebody comes up with the same dialect that she might have, she says, "Well, what kind of doctor are you?" What she's doing is clearing the path to find out exactly who you are. What do you have? What can we talk about? And she's trying to get where she said it tonight. She said it today. She said, I try to figure out the environment so I can speak on the environment because we're going to have two different conversations. It's one where you can comprehend, and then there's some people who can't comprehend the words that I'm saying. And we're not going to have the same dialect. I can't talk to
I'm
you.
sorry, Susu. Chastity just came up here and exactly defined elitist behavior. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And the
she
thing is
literally just
too,
came up here and said, I'm sorry. Maybe let me just give you a different way to see it, Susu. She's an elitist. That's what she just
right.
did.
It was
And the
rude, and
thing
I
is
think it was
too,
meant to be rude. I think what I'm trying to say is it was dead ass wrong and it was rude, and I think it was meant to be that way. And I think it was because she was in that mode. Does that make sense? Because I don't agree at all with how she treated
I
that therapist.
think it
I
does
think
make
when they
sense.
have a
I
conversation, if they ever do have a conversation, I think they can get to a place where where Duchess could say I was dead ass fucking wrong. Because I believe she knows she was dead ass fucking wrong. I believe she knows she was dead ass fucking wrong with how she treated that therapist, right? But
okay,
I
I
think
think
she meant to treat her that way because of some sort of defensiveness that she had. Because I will tell you this, AJ, I want you to recap our live with her. In the beginning, she was completely defensive with me, and she kept saying, "And who's gonna do something? Who the fuck is gonna do something? And who's gonna do something about it? And none of y'all can do something about it." And I just was simply trying to have answers to questions. And when I told her, "Hey, this ain't that. We just having a conversation," she said she didn't care in that moment. Go ahead,
I
boo.
think I think for me, I couldn't disagree more. As a janitor, you can hear all of the beeping and the buzzing in the background. I have met, I mean, dozens of physicians who believe the exact same thing that she believes, and they have to be humbled by lots of nurses because they don't understand that, baby, you need me. Okay, you need me. I don't know what you thinking, but you need me. And they have to be taught that, a lot of them, because they believe that we're less than them based on the fact that we decided that we like being at the bedside and being able to touch and heal with our hands and prefer to not do it through a computer. Okay. There are so many. During COVID, there were doctors who wouldn't even step into rooms because they thought they were too good to get COVID, but they would send us in there to risk our lives and be mad if we refused to go. Trust me, okay, when I tell you that this is not a one-off. Chastity just came up and cleared up for you that it's not a one-off. This is who this woman is.
So
And it's
let me say,
okay if that's who you are. Just be who you are, claim who you are, but let's just all be real about it. She's an elitist. She
Right.
believes that we're
I think
beneath her based on who we are.
yeah,
right.
she
And so,
double down in the comments right now by saying, but the doctor is still the boss, not the nurse.
See what
So
I'm saying?
exactly. So, and that's why I
See what I'm
say
saying?
that.
The
I
doctor
am,
is still the boss, not the nurse. Yet,
and
just
I am.
tonight, you know what? Never mind.
And the reality is, and so here's the thing, and please, I'm just asking, like, let me. I'm sorry if I'm long winded, but I do want to make this entire point. So I can accept that she is an elitist, right? Because that's just who she is. But I go back to my position on there is no all good person, there is no all bad person. And this is why, with me, I have to compartmentalize people and how they present. Because just as I am always going to be mindful and aware that she is an elitist, that she does have these negative behaviors that I have identified, I'm not going to invalidate and erase the positive things that I see. So I have to take it all in slices of pie. And then I, within myself, make the determination of how I'm going to engage with this person when we are in passing. And if I choose to only engage in the positive, so if I see her and she's on tip and she's doing that elitist stuff and she's arguing, she's that, then I'm not going to engage. I'm going to scroll away. I'm not going to talk to her. I'm not going to do it. But when I see her and she's positive and she's laughing, she's having a good time, then I'm going to engage and I'm okay, Big Dutch. Okay. I know that's how I'm going to move forward. Now, as we chime into the interaction with her and that therapist, right?
Oh, I
Because
didn't mean to
she
come
is
out.
an elitist.
I didn't mean to come out. Let me down.
What you
Hey,
want to
Susu.
do? You know how to get down, Keith. Now,
Because I
And
have
I'm not. Oh, Coco, go ahead.
I'm sorry, because we have assessed and we have identified that Dr. Duchess is an elitist. She has doubled down a couple times in the comments, even if she's incorrect. She was incorrect in discussing ethics and saying that, and validating that therapist's ability to speak toward ethics over the profession, because ethics applies to all, even, period, right? There's just a right way and a wrong way, right? And even in a conversation with Susu, when she talked about the person who had the mental illness that articulated SI, and she, even in that, you were able to, because she respects you, were able to point out, well, hey, even outside of your profession, ethically, this was still wrong. And she agreed it was wrong, right? And you're not a therapist. You get what I'm saying? You're not even a licensed therapist. And so it's just like you meet people where they are. So in that environment, and this is where your point comes in that environment, in a courtroom, when she was on the defensive, she taking shots. Even here, she's doubling down and standing on it, right? But she does have the ability to receive correction when it's somebody that she respects. I'm not saying I can't come to the conclusion of whether it's
Exactly.
right or it's wrong. It's just, it is what it is. And you just have to take it for what it is.
I'd like to comment.
And I also just want to throw this in there.
Damn.
I got told that the doctor is my boss. That's a motherfucking lie. The
It is
only
a
boss
lie.
I have in a clinical position is the patient. The patient can fire me, you, the facility, the insurance. The patient is the only boss, the only boss. They're the only person that can say what have to be done. Even you as a doctor got rules that you have to follow. Even you as a doctor get little charts that tell you where you have to go and what you can do next. You can't just operate all willy-nilly and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You ain't even no boss. But that's the problem. that you think that you're the boss. That's the problem. So your patient don't even get a right to have any word in their own care because you think you're running shit.
Yeah, the
No doctor
Oh,
runs me. Let me be clear about that. I don't give a fuck what kind of doctor you is. You don't run me. I run me. And I can click patient refuse. I refuse the motherfucking give for whatever reason in this chart, and it ain't a motherfucking thing you can do about it. You ain't my boss.
Okay, but let me you're right about that. That's true. I'm gonna let Tansy go. Tansy, I see you, babe. Hi, Tansy. Um, in the end, can nobody tell me how to respond when I'm in defense on this app?
right.
That's just the truth, right? Sometimes I say some really fucking crazy shit about people, and no one holds me to a standard, right? So I think that because she's a woman who presents as elitist, who has, this profession, who has this lifestyle, and who has this money, and because of her age, we want to hold her to a certain standard, and she's just as messy as us 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 20-year-olds. If she want to cuss somebody out and she choose to cuss them out, however way she cusses them out, I can't I can't judge her on that. I could tell her what I feel is fucked up and what's not, and she can take the accountability for what she wants and what she doesn't want. But in the end, we all act a fool on this bitch. So why can't Dr. Duchess?
And that's where I think it just really boils down to basic respect. Take people for what they are. When I first came over on this side of TikTok, I promise, I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to, come on, you guys, y'all don't have to do this. Why are we tearing each other down like that? And then I learned, no, this is what they're going to do over here. So you got to take it for what it is. You cannot control people.
Right. I want to say this. It's hella shit I don't agree with. I told her she was dead ass fucking wrong for a list of things. There's some shit we didn't even get to that we're getting to now in this conversation. I don't agree with that shit. And y'all know that. I don't agree with it at all. And I think that as someone who's older, I do think that the older women should probably act differently, in my opinion. But I can't tell her how to act. I can't, it's not me validating it. It's just like everybody's grown and they pay for their own phone bill and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
I'm not saying that she can't do
You know
whatever
what
the
I
fuck
mean?
she
Can't
want.
wait until I can get in
We're just
there.
up
Let
here
I
me
having.
finish, AJ. I'm sorry, I do have to cut you off
Okay,
because
I'm just saying I don't think because I'm gonna walk out here and clean the floor. I don't think that
mm,
I'm saying she can't do whatever she want. I think I'm just saying let's just call a spade a spade. She could give a fuck less about people and us putting this cloak on it of she's this older woman that just care about these people and she just
she's
no,
telling
she don't.
fuck, right? She's telling you she don't give a fuck about these people. She's telling you she don't give a fuck about what she did in that moment. She did what she wanted to do. She's like, there's not too much I can do when somebody's standing on it. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Tansy.
Well, she wasn't standing on it at first because
standing
the
on
other day she
a
was over
damn
there.
thing.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
ain't
I
standing on
understand that
shit.
people don't want to hear my voice, but I'm sorry. I'm going to have to interject here for a sec. Um, it's not that she don't care. Anybody who keeps on saying they don't give a damn actually do give a damn. And not only that, her elitism does not explain her behaviors. She has behaviors that need to be addressed with herself, not by anybody else. We're just looking at her behaviors, and the mere fact that she think that she can go around and misdiagnose other people. Now it's time for people to reflect and see what she's doing. The whole point of this was not to try to get her to stop her behaviors, is to see her for what she really is. And notice I said what she is, because if she lack empathy, if she keeps on saying, "Oh, I don't give a shit about someone who want to be smoola lala," want to jump off the cliff. Like if she says that as an individual, then that speaks that speaks to her humanity, right? Now I can be a narcissist if I want to, and I can say, and we're supposed to, and that's why I don't agree with the DSM-5 all the time. I don't agree with it because it's not representative of people in their habitat, and it does not look at people as holistic in their environment as individuals. Now, if you look at her individually as a person without all of her little gadgets that she used to manipulate other people, then what she is a sad old hag who really feel like she is on a time clock, and she's jealous of those people who have a longer time clock than she does. So what she does is she wept.
But hold on one second. Here's what I want to do because I know y'all have your own personal issue, right? So I'm not gonna I'm not trying to gag you or like tell you that you don't have freedom of speech, right? Because you do. But what I'm saying is, it's coming from a very personal place, and because what she did to you, in my opinion, was wrong, right? In my opinion, was wrong, right? Because of her profession and because of who she is, I don't think that she should have, you know, said what she said to you. Whether, however, people think if it's diagnosing or not diagnosing, but my thing is this, right, Tansy? There are a lot of nasty things people can say about you based on what you've presented on this app, right?
No, because I don't do those things. The people
Well,
that
that you
say
might not do exactly what she did, Tansy. We're not gonna put
nope, no,
but
because
you have done things for people to have judged you poorly, correct?
no, people are just
Absolutely.
jealous. People are just jealous, period.
Tansy, you're the same person.
Listen, you can say what you want. That's why you guys are talking and you didn't want me to have a
Okay, she
word in
don't want. She doesn't
edgewise.
want to
But
have
I am going to
a
let my voice be
honest
heard.
conversation.
I
And
know
she
I'm going to let my
has,
voice be.
and Tansy's very much welcome over here. She's supported me and everything, so she has a voice here as well. But I'm just being honest with you, and you can complete your thought. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead.
I am going to say that there's a big difference between she and I, right? If she comes from an elitist point of view and that's what point of view everybody else is coming from, then I can come from an elitist point of view too. And I can look down upon you and I can step on you and I can do insult you and I don't have to be held accountable. A lot of people can look at it from that perspective. But what I'm looking at, and I'm not coming from a place where she did this and she did that to me. I'm talking about her misdiagnosing other people and not caring about the harm that she could actually inflict on other people. And not only
My
that,
point is, Tansy, before you finish that last thought, my point, because I don't want to forget what you just said, but my point is, why compare ourselves to one another?
we
Why?
do that is a normal thing, is because
But why?
that's a normal human attribute
Somebody
to
else is
compare and
I'm
contrast.
not like, and she's not like me. Why is there even a comparison? You are you, and she is her. And what you would do, she probably wouldn't do. And what she does, you probably wouldn't do.
But that's not the angle that I want you to see. The angle that I want you to see is the mere fact that she is, like, you guys are literally saying her behavior is this way because of X and Y. I'm saying that she has some internal things going on and you guys are missing it. We all miss things, right?
But we all have internal things going on.
No, 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 no. But the point is that, for example, with me, you say, okay, Tansy, you have said some things on here that wasn't so pleasing. I know that. But this is the thing that differentiates me from her, if you want to compare and contrast. When you say someone lacks empathy, I say if you want to compare and contrast.
Mhm.
She does not care about humanity. That's the big difference. She doesn't respect anyone, period. She wants to control. There's a big difference. When you control someone with your money, that's one thing. Like when she controls Black Diamond, when she controls Miss Nitra, when she controls these people, it's usually because she lacks control in her real life. Maybe and I said maybe in her relationship she has no control. So the only way she can exude
Okay, but you're
control is when she
right
when
now.
she's on here.
Hold on,
Okay,
Tansy.
can I ask a
What you
question?
just did right there was made an unfair assumption about a personal relationship of hers. And you
Well,
have
she
no.
makes unfair assumptions about a lot of people.
Okay, but you're doing
Can
exactly.
I ask
That's
a
my point.
question?
But that's my point. You're doing exactly
Because
what
I
you're
am exactly
doing.
like her in some ways. And yes, I am going to
Doing.
make an unfair assumption. She goes
That
around
was
making
right.
unfair assumptions.
Wait, now,
Right. And
Susu.
she's wrong when she does it, and you're wrong when you do it.
And you
Now,
know what? At the
Susu.
end of the day, just like she says she doesn't care, and I'm not going to swear on your panel, but I'm going to say I don't care.
No, we don't give a fuck over here.
Okay, but hold
Susu.
on. I'm confused, Susu, because Tansy, do you not remember how you met me? Do you know this is
I don't
AJ
care
and
how I
Tansy
met
talk?
you. That's not the point.
That's that the point right there is
Exactly.
what I was talking about. You
And
just
the
made it.
point that I'm making
You
right
came
now
up,
is
Susu.
the
We
same
were
way she
quiet for
talks about
Tansy.
people.
We
And
were
here you
quiet for
go. You
Tansy.
got your
We
little
were quiet
pom
for
poms
Tansy.
cheering.
We
Hey,
were
Tansy,
quiet for Tansy.
for 1 second.
No, and
1 second. Go ahead. AJ, go ahead.
AJ than me.
Okay, so apparently Tansy forgets, but she just proved it to y'all. I met Tansy.
you get nothing.
I met Tansy
Tansy, can
over
you
on
please
Diamonds Live.
go one at a time for the panel? I don't want it to get snatched. And let's just have a conversation.
Right.
One that's
Okay,
not
acting
personal.
like you got.
One that's not anger driven. One that's just for clarity, understanding. We have some understanding and just not
Yes.
have the.
Stop acting like a rabid dog like you did that day you went up on Diamond Panel and dropped your drawers, dummy.
Okay.
Now, what
Diamonds
I'm
live,
trying to, yes,
honey.
it
I'll have
was, you
y'all
Honey,
do y'all
lying
thing.
whore.
I'll do y'all thing.
hold
Yes, it
on, honey.
was.
That wasn't on
Yes, it
Diamonds
was.
Live.
Shut
So
up.
I remember very well.
Shut
And that's
up.
not where you met me,
Yes,
honey.
it
So
was
the thing
Diamonds Live.
is that although you care
Susu,
that I
she's
am
still
my age
talking.
and I still have my
She's
menstrual
still
cycle,
I
it
don't
talking.
was
know.
actually on Franklin's
She's
I
Live.
don't
still
like.
talking.
It was actually on Franklin's Live, honey.
Let her
You got
She's
finish
it
her
still
all
thought.
talking.
wrong.
Let
What's
her
wrong
finish
with
her
you?
thought. And AJ, just focus on your thought, babe. I just want you to get it
I
out.
don't even know. I don't even know who Franklin is. You was in your whitey
It wasn't
tighty
done on
on
Diamonds Live,
Diamonds
honey.
Live.
I don't care.
So
It
that means
wasn't
that
done
you
on
1 second.
Diamonds
1 second.
Live.
I gotta
So
talk to you.
you
1 second. Do you
you
respect my
don't even know where
platform?
you be at most of the
Do you
time.
respect my platform, Tansy?
Yes, I do.
then
Okay, so
shut the
I'm
fuck up,
asking.
whore.
No, you see how she's telling me to shut the F up? Does she want me to get
Okay,
rowdy?
that's not necessary either. Because as I'm trying to be a buffer here, we don't need all that. I just said let's have a conversation without us insulting one another and being in our personal. Let's just talk about the situation. And I really don't need y'all to be arguing because we can have an intellectual conversation without each other doing this. Okay.
But
So
I'm not trying to argue. She started with me.
off of mute, which is disrespectful as well. That's a disrespectful move. Somebody's talking to get off of mute and cut them off. So she's disrespecting you with her words, but you're disrespecting her with your actions. So I know everybody respects me in here. Let's try to reel it in, y'all. We're having a good conversation. Let's try to keep it like that. AJ, please go ahead, babe.
Tansy brought her ass over here. First of all, the first thing she said when she walked in the door was a lie. She said, I don't do that, and then turned around and said, yes, I do agree. I do that. She's a very bad liar. That's the first thing. Secondly, everything that she just came up here and said that Dr. Duchess do, she do. So she need to stop. She don't give a fuck about humanity. If she did, she wouldn't sleep with every man she run across. She'll only sleep with her husband. Okay? She don't give a fuck about humanity. If she did, when people drop her dumb ass from the panel, she wouldn't get paid to be brought back up so she could come back up and tell us about her coochie and all the endeavors that it done got in because it'll take us 2 years to get through the whole thing. She don't give a fuck. Tansy is doing too much. And as a matter of fact, when this whole thing went down with her and Dr. Duchess, I actually agreed with Tansy. And now that she's dragging it to the wit's end, it's ridiculous. Sister Soldier need to go have a fucking seat.
Susu, may I
Uh,
chime in?
I'm
Okay,
gonna
and
respond. I'm gonna. Can Susu? Can I respond?
I want you to respond, but I did tell Poca she's after AJ, so I want to respect that. I promised her she would go after her. So go ahead, Poca. Tansy, don't forget your thoughts, okay? Stay right there.
Wait, Poker, before you go, I forgot one thing. And also, the
And
bitch must have dropped
also,
her draws more than one time because she definitely dropped them in Diamonds Live down to the whitey tighties with her old ass.
Okay, AJ,
Trick,
you got it
bitch.
off now. Now you done got it off now. I just said we.
gonna be able to return the favor.
Okay, let Poker go, and then Tansy has the floor. Go ahead, Poker. Jesus.
So I want to have a good faith and honest conversation. And if we are being honest, it is a lie for the way that Tansy has partially mischaracterized Dr. Duchess, because we have seen Dr. Duchess demonstrate respect towards people. We can't erase that, right? So I go back to my point about compartmentalizing, right? Because she respected you, she respected Lav, she respected Trina. Like this is what we see. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not that it didn't happen. That's number one. Number two, it is the situation with Tansy and Dr. Duchess is personal, and I think that you kind of invalidate some of your position if you're trying to have an honest conversation when you are in your emotions because you're not dealing with the facts, right? I would also like to say, when I understand that we hear that Dr. Duchess is a clinical psychologist, and I understand that there is an expectation of a certain type of behavior, but I pose the question to when can she take her hat off, right? Because the reality is, when she comes on this app, and if she sees a behavior and calls it out, for instance, I could hear somebody with a pretty wet cough, and I can come to the conclusion, I can deduce that they likely have CHF. And I've done it. I've done it in another live. Get out of here with that CHF cough, right? And then the dude is like, wait, I actually have CHF, right? I know from my profession what I'm looking at, right? But I'm not diagnosing, right? And because you don't have a relationship, an established relationship, she is not under any type of confidentiality clause. She is dealing with people on the app. When does she get to take the hat off and just be? So even because people keep saying, well, it's dangerous, but I've yet to hear people actually articulate the danger between her calling somebody bipolar, her calling somebody narcissistic, and us throwing those words around. How is it more of an imposed danger for her who is engaging than us who do it when we're in this shared space, right? So that's one question
I will
that
say
I
this.
have.
What's different is the fact that she is who she is, and she says she is who she is. So, um, we can assume that when she says something because of her credentials, it can be looked at as facts.
Right. But Susu, the question that I have is, because no one has validated her credentials. We don't she could very much so not be a doctor. She could not be anything. You get what I'm saying? Like, just because she put you get, so it's just like, where the question that I have is, what is the danger? Where is the harm? I have yet to hear people actually articulate the harm. She has no authority. She can't put Tansy into a mental institution for danger to self, or what is it? I can't even think of it right now because I got so many thoughts going on. But anyway, she can't take away Tansy's rights to make a decision for herself. She can't order or prescribe medication. She can't do, like welfare checks and all that kind of stuff. What is the harm?
Um,
I'd like to speak to
She
the
can't.
harm.
Wait. Hold that thought. I'm sorry, Tansy.
Damn.
so look, if you have final words, Tansy, they paid to drop you, boo. Bam.
Ooh, yikes. She can't add anything to her medical record that's going to go with her. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's easy to
Word.
say, well, if you're supposed to be a doctor, that's harmful to do. She has no authority over her. We're on TikTok. The next thing I wanted to say, and this is a point that I want to make, when you have Tansy, who in one breath will talk about Black unity and us getting along and doing better, right? And then you also have Tansy, who has been in my husband's life, knowing that he is married, talking about how she wants to suck his genitalia, right? Disrespecting his wife, who is a Black woman who has never inflicted harm on her. You cannot,
Mods,
well, I'm
put
not
the
going to say you.
TA in the chat. Sorry, boo. Go ahead, Pokemon.
No, it's okay. You can't, it's hard to, and this is where I say people kill their credibility, right? Because how can you hold Dr. Duchess to a standard of caring about humanity when you, as a Black woman on this app who in one live will promote Black unity and support, will do something like that to a newlywed man and his wife? You get what I'm saying? Like, you're contradicting yourself, and it's hypocritical. So, and the fact that Tansy is blocked from Cartel's page from 4 different pages, and she still comes in there from other pages, it's just like, you're calling out Dr. Duchess, but honey, you got a lot of dirt on your porch that you probably should start sweeping.
And I think that it's easy to see the I think that it's easy. She said you lying. Where are my mods at? There ain't no mods in here. Mods, is y'all in here? Do I got my moderators in here? Drop the CA in the chat, y'all. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think that it's fair to even compare one another, because no one knows how far they're going to take anything when they get upset. I sure didn't know I was going to take some shit when I got upset, but I've been to hell with people. Let me put it in. Hold on. Let me put it in a sticker. I've taken it to hell, and I've said some very egregious things, and like, maybe because I'm young, or maybe because I'm not a medical professional, people be like, Susu, you're eating. But I mean, we all are at liberty to say whatever the fuck we want to say on this app, and then choose the engagement that we have with those people. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I don't like what Polka's doing, I don't have to engage with her. Hence why Boyka is blocked on every single page of mine, and every single page of his, right, is blocked. And that's because I choose not to engage with him, because whatever he's displaying, I don't agree with. So therefore, you're not going to be in my space, and I don't want to be in a space where you're at. So all we have control of is ourselves and how we care to view people, right? But to support one person and their antics, regardless of who they are, and the crazy shit that we say, right? And then judge her because she's an old lady that's a psychologist, I can't be hypocritical. I don't want to be hypocritical. I can just tell her I don't agree. I can tell her that was fucked up. And then she can be an adult and be like, okay, forget the ego. You were right. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have did that. That's all we can do about it. It's just have
Hold
to see if they're an adult enough to be like, okay, that was fucked up and that was wrong. Go ahead.
So now, okay, and I'm a little confused. So now, are people not supposed to be held to a higher standard when they have those types of professions?
They
Because I
are.
mean, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I
No.
work in sales.
You were here yesterday, and I did hold her there, and I said, as a human being and in the profession that you're in, and acting that way is extremely fucked up. Yes, she should be held to a certain standard because of who she is, but I can't make her hold herself to that standard. You get what I'm saying? I can't make her.
But I don't think it makes anybody a hypocrite. I think it's just common sense. Your
No, we're
average everyday person would not do an OF, or
comparing
would
her.
do an OF without consequences, but a teacher or a public figure would do an OF and have consequences. Maybe it's not right, but the truth of the matter is certain professions come with certain things, period. Sports players may not want to be, role models, but you understand when you become a professional sports player, that is something that you have to do, period. You're not just dribbling a ball.
Right, the assumed
It comes
responsibility.
with shit.
Right.
Exactly. So
And
that doesn't end because you're on an app full of people who don't have the same assumed responsibility as you.
right. And so we're saying the exact same thing, Trina, in the sense that because you are who you are, it comes with what it comes with, right? But I can't make you care about it more than Like,
But I'm trying to figure out, how does that compare to Tansy being who Tansy's been? Tansy ain't no fucking therapist.
Well,
licensed
Susu,
therapist. That's what she
Susu, if
said.
I
I can
may,
only go based off of what she said.
Susu, if I may, the
Now,
comparison
how
came
y'all
from
believe that when
Tansy.
Tansy told y'all the whole first year of her being on Diamond's show that she didn't even have no damn job?
Susu, if we may bring the conversation back to where the comparison came from, Tansy initiated the comparison between Dr. Dutch's behavior as a human and humanity, and Tansy and how she behaved. So the behavior was not based on solely a professional, right? It was, she doesn't care about humanity. She does this, she does that, right? So that's actually like the genesis of the comparison, was person to person. And Tansy went from um, saying that they do the same things. And I don't know if she was hitting along the lines of the narcissism, which I heard her talk about in another panel. So the comparison came from Tansy. Also, again, the question is posed because nobody has validated Dr. Duchess. Is you represent your profession, and for the sake of the public, in which we rely on the trust of the people in order to get them the help and support that they need, we have a responsibility to conduct ourselves in a certain manner, right? That's my position, right? And that's how I feel, and I stand by that. And so I do believe that if you do present yourself as in this profession, in this position, that you have that responsibility, but I have no authority to enforce that upon another person. And so that goes back to what I was saying about compartmentalizing our experience with Duchess. First and foremost, we don't know that she's a clinical psychologist for sure. Anybody can come on here and say that they're anything. So, but let's take it that as if she is, right? When she's on this app, because this is where it came up, there is no difference between her on Messy Talk calling somebody bipolar than Susu. The sake being, and this is why I'm asking, what is the actual harm? No one has articulated the actual harm, right? That it imposes on a person in their real life, because we're all on Messy Talk. And so it's like
But
when we,
I have to disagree with that part. And there is a harm that we have no control over, and that's how that person received it and what actions they take from receiving it, how they feel by it, and what actions they take by that. Depression, anxiety, triggered, suicide, like that. There are things that can come from the words that we say on here, regardless, that can affect us in our real life.
is that exclusive to Dr. Duchess because she's a clinical psychologist, or do we all have a responsibility?
We
Right.
all do as humans. That's why I put her profession to the side when I had that conversation, and I focused on the angle of just being a human with empathy.
Right. Right. I agree 100% with that. And so, and that's where I'm speaking more from a position of, like I said, when can she take that hat off, right? Because in my profession, I'm a healthcare professional, but you don't see nothing about healthcare, not on my profile. I just added Dr. Polka being funny to my name. I don't associate myself with my profession because I'm not on here as that. You get what I'm saying? If I have some information, some expertise that I can chime in here and there to help people out, I'll do that. But you're not going to hold me to any standard in a space where I'm letting my hair down. I come on here to be goofy and to laugh and to joke. I don't come on here to be the healthcare professional. But I understand it's different because she presents herself as the
Right. I think you answered your own question, because she did, though. She did come on here presenting herself directly as a health professional. She does assert her career. She does actually, she did open up her inbox and open herself up for people to speak with her. So those aren't the same thing. It's one thing to not lead with your profession and we don't know who the hell you are, than to lead with your profession and act a damn fool.
Right. And so I've stated that I don't agree with her behavior. I've stated in multiple lives that she has a responsibility, even just to the profession. I said all of that
So
is
the
true and
answer to
fine.
your question would be she doesn't get to. There's many professions where you don't get to take the hat off, especially when you lead with the fact that that is your profession. You ruined your own chance to take the hat off.
And then the reality is, though, that she actually does and can, because what are the consequences that are going to happen?
I mean, we've seen people play with those. Well, what are y'all gonna do? And then they've lost their job. So, I mean, that sounds cute, but we've seen it happen in real time where you do suffer real world consequences because you have the attitude of what y'all gonna do to me on this app. A lot of the times, people take that "what y'all gonna do to me" as a challenge to do something to you. Because everybody can be found and everybody can be touched. So you asked a question, but then you had your own answer. If you want to take the hat off when you have a certain profession, the smartest thing to do would be to not lead with that profession, because a lot of professions don't allow you to take that hat off when it's clear that you are that, like judges, law enforcement, and a lot of medical health professionals.
So the question wasn't necessarily like for me, it was more of posing a question for, do we have space to give grace to Dr. Duchess in this area for
Nope.
her to engage? Mm,
Yeah,
I do.
and right, I can see both sides, and that's why I love having this conversation because, in a sense, for me, I'm like I act the damn fool on here, and I'm a professional. My job can be found or whatever, you know what I mean, or all that, right? But on the other side of things, I can see what Trina's saying about, well, if you do have this major hat to wear, and this is the profession that you're on, maybe if you want to be free and act the way you want to act on this app, maybe don't lead with that, because that's the first thing that people will attack, and that will be the first thing that people will try to hold you accountable for is your profession. Um, but in the end, overall, Dr. Duchess knows what she's doing. She's okay with what she's doing, and she don't give a fuck. So in that moment, it she's just there right there. I don't care. So it's like in that moment, it's like you either choose to engage with her or you choose not to engage with her. It's black and
And I
white.
believe in that, and how Dr. Duchess, like for instance, she has doubled down in the comments about being an elitist. She's doubled down in the comments about not caring. And so I think it is our responsibility as the people that are watching her and seeing her, is to, it goes back to what I'm saying. Now we determine how we engage with her. So you know what I mean? Like, so as
We
I'm
have discussed.
stating,
Hold on. Karina said in the comments that we still discuss it, which is what we're doing right now. We discussing it. You get what I'm saying? Like we've been discussing. We was discussing it before she ever came in this live, or before she ever came on the panel. We've been discussing her for about damn near 2 weeks now. And we're gonna probably continue to discuss her if she still do antics, because that's what we do, and we just always
right.
gonna break it down. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
no, it's okay. And so what I'm saying is, at this point, she's being very forthcoming. We've seen a display of behaviors. We've seen the entire gamut. We've seen the extreme. We've seen the calm. It is now our responsibility to make an assessment and determine how we move forward. So, though I don't agree with leading with your profession here and then conducting yourself unprofessionally, like, I don't know for sure, but just based off of what Trina said, where she's opened herself up, to engage with people under her hat, I think it's dangerous to poop where you eat. Right? Not that you are making money off of it, but you've had behaviors that have been distrustful for people who, honestly, I do think that psychology, therapy is a very sensitive area, especially for our community of people. I think that's something that we should hold more sacred when it pertains to mental health. That's my position. That's how I feel. So would I operate like Dr. Duchess does? No. But the reality is that Dr. Duchess is in this space and she's doing it all. And I think at this point, moving forward, the people have to make an assessment. They have to not trust her, not go to her with their mental health issues, not be vulnerable to her. You get what I'm saying? with that. Don't ask her for money because you know that she'll expose you. It's just like we got to deal with reality. We can have all these theoretical shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but the reality is what is happening, what has happened, and what she has already doubled down on will happen. And move with wisdom. See, she said I don't want them to.
Maybe she's displaying these actions and being so wild about it for that reason. She probably don't want people to look at her for any help, and maybe that is her way of trying to deter people from looking at her as some way of somebody who can help them through their problems and stuff. Maybe she's done with that part of her life and she want to just do whatever the fuck she want to do, and so she's acting this way. So that motherfuckers. Oh, she said that they can come to her because the only
That's
person
what
I
Trina
thought.
said. She opened up her.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
she
didn't know
said
that.
she made herself
And so,
available.
yeah, no, we can't, like, I'm sorry, a lot of this just sounds like a bunch of nonsense. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, I'm going to act crazy, I don't care about my
Oh, I didn't know
profession, but
she
then you
opened her
come on here
DMs
leading
for
with your
help.
profession and opening yourself up to people coming to you. You either don't give a fuck about the profession or you do. But to ruin people's whole perspective of said profession because you claim you're going to be retiring from it is bullshit. And I don't care whether you care about it or not. I don't understand what this, well, she doesn't care and she's being honest. What the fuck does that mean? Who
I'm
cares
trying to
if she's
find out
being
now,
honest?
Trina.
Who cares if she's being forthcoming? A lot of shitty ass people on this bitch are honest and forthcoming. They're still shitty ass people. I don't get it. Who gives a fuck? She's the one who led with her career. So if she didn't want to be looked at that, she could have came on here as Duchess from Memphis and we wouldn't have known shit else. If she didn't want people commenting her in her inbox, then she could have never opened herself up for that. But to open yourself up for that and then act a fucking fool is outrageous. Period. Whether she cares or she does not care. Who gives a fuck? It's going to be
Also,
discussed because it's happening on this damn app.
I think also the whole I don't care thing, I don't know. As a person, if I don't care about something, I'm not sitting in the live, commenting, keeping up with what you got to say, replying and having something to say about everything you say. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be missing sleep if I just almost had stroke numbers on blood pressure to comment in the live and say I don't care if I don't care. That to me screams I care very much. That to me screams I care so much that at 5 a.m., instead of doing what Nitra told me to do and get off the app and go and relax and rest somewhere, I'm here in the comments arguing back and forth. I did come up here to just ask you though, Susu, is you pulling a Manny tonight, girl?
What you mean by that?
You got to be rage baiting us with the way you keep saying, I mean, she just doesn't care.
She quite literally does not care. I'm not here to police how
That
people
don't mean
present.
that we can't have the conversation though.
Who said y'all can't? We're having
That's
it.
why I don't understand the point of keep saying that shit. HB don't damn care. I'm gonna talk about that bitch every time I want to. What is the point of saying she doesn't care? I mean, she clearly does care though. She makes sure she's a part of
All
every
right,
conversation, so she clearly cares.
can I speak real quick? We're having the discussion, so I don't understand. Who said we're not going to talk about it?
Question is, what does her saying she doesn't care matter?
Because we can sit here and discuss it around her, but in the end, she's still going to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. That's my point.
And the
So we
reason
can
that I
talk
Aren't we
make
about
the
all?
the responsibility that she has. We can talk about the hat that she wears. We can talk about the importance or the diminishing she's done to the mental health profession for the black community, for people here sitting here watching, listening. All of those things. We can discuss that around her as we've been doing, but in the end, she don't give a fuck.
and Susu, the reason that I
Y'all
mentioned,
gonna do that though. From everybody who's ever been
So it's
talked
a moot
about on
point
this
if you
app,
ask me, like,
everybody
why
does that.
I don't care. It's a moot point because we're still discussing it. The show goes on as it always has. We're continuing the show and we're having the discussion right now.
Hey, lady, don't nobody hate you. See, this, and that's the problem. When people get to feeling like I can't be discussed and when I am is hate, nobody hates you. It just is what it is. It's the reality. You hush,
That's
bitch.
what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to y'all right now. It is what it is, and that's the reality. She is a professional on this app. What we believe that she's doing is misconduct, is unethical under her profession, and we're having the conversation about it.
And
But again, don't care.
the reason that I'm mentioning and acknowledging that she doubled down on being an elitist, that she doubled down on not caring, even though she led with her profession, even though she made herself available, is for the people, as I stated, to make an assessment and to not share and be vulnerable with her. So if you, and we've seen it happen here on this app, we have seen people demonstrate a behavior toward people and people still align themselves with that person and open themselves up to have the same behavior done to them. So the reason that I mentioned it was to show, hey, she doesn't care. She doesn't want this. Not for her, not for you, not for me or anybody who is not at risk, but for people who would be vulnerable, who would try to seek therapy or help from her. Because, and that's why I gave the examples of her reading the DMs about the young lady who was having those ideations, and gave supporting evidence on why I stated my position, because she's not the person to do that with on this app, because she doesn't care. That's not for her. That's not endorsing her behavior. That's a warning, a stark warning. That's like when HB exposed those news of all those people and people were still sharing
Don't send her
explicit
shit.
stuff with her like she wouldn't. You get what I'm saying? That's what it's for. It's for moving forward, y'all. Here's the red flag, here's the alert, here's the warning, here's the caution, proceed with it, right? So after her behavior these past few days, anybody that goes into her inbox asking her for money or sharing that they are having mental, like they may be in a crisis, you're that, don't do it over there, because she gonna make it worse, likely. She gonna
Okay.
make it worse.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna squeeze in here really quick. Sorry. So, Polka, you mentioned earlier, you said no one was able to articulate the danger, because I said exactly that it's dangerous, and I think you just answered the question like twice as far as why and how it's dangerous. It's because she is a medical professional. She says she's a medical professional. So people come to her with a extra trust. You know what I'm saying? A trust that you put into your doctor or a doctor, a police officer, someone who's in the field of helping others, right? And so when that's exploited or exposed by a doctor, it's a little worse, right? It makes people feel maybe a little worse. Like they can't trust people that are in a position of trust, right? So I think you kind of answered your own question a couple of times tonight, right?
I,
But
I
after listening to her, really quick, I'm sorry, I'm not going to stay up here long. After listening to her last night or this morning, wherever you were in space, but I just kind of have to, for my, just for this purpose, right? It's just to take the doctor off. Whether I just don't believe she is one, and I don't know if that's disrespectful, but I just don't, right? Because I just can't see a doctor acting the way she's acting, whether she's on TikTok, not on TikTok. It's just certain things that you just wouldn't do because you know it's harmful and that it could lead to a harm, right? So you just wouldn't do it. I know we do a lot of crazy things on this app. So that's why I just have to take the doctor off of it and just say she's just another crazy motherfucker on this app doing crazy shit. And that's it,
I
right?
I agree, Celie, and I want to clarify something, because my question, it wasn't what is the harm. My question was, or my question was, for people to articulate the actual harm. And I gave examples too in terms of her calling somebody bipolar in a space, because again, nobody's validated her credentials and there isn't an established relationship. So, what would be the difference in a person who called themselves a doctor, right, saying that somebody freaking frack is bipolar versus me saying you out here acting bipolar when I cannot, it's not going, I don't have any authority. So that's why I said she doesn't have the capacity or the authority. She can't attach it to their medical record that travels with them. She can't prescribe medications. She can't if say or she doesn't have the authority, whereas in real life she could have the authority to take away a person's ability to make decisions for themselves and put them on a psychiatric hold if they stated that they were having ideations. She can't do that here. So I'm talking about the actual physical harm. I understand, and I've already articulated and acknowledged. That's what I'm saying. So when you guys are saying that you're answering your own question, I know the danger and the threat that it imposes into the profession, right? But what I'm saying is for the actual physical harm. What harm is it hurting the actual person? There is
It,
none. She has no authority.
but I don't think it has to be a physical harm. I think it's an emotional harm. It's a mental harm. That's the harm I'm talking about to the actual person who's trusting in this professional to be professional, right? And then when they're not, it's like exposing a person that's not ready to be exposed, and being exposed by a doctor as opposed to being exposed by just a lay person. You're going to feel differently and people are going to look at it differently, right?
No,
So
I
I
agree.
think that's
Mm-hmm.
the emotional harm I think that's happening. It doesn't have to be something that she can put in a record or not put in the record. It's just saying it out loud. It's people feel differently. And that's, I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but when a doctor says something, as opposed to when a layperson says something, it's looked at differently and people feel differently when it happens to them, right? And that's why there are laws in place for doctors to not do things like that because they're in a position of doing no harm, people trusting them, people laying out their whole life story for them, and then they go out and they expose it. It's it feels different. I don't know how else to explain it. So I think that's the harm I'm talking about.
No, and
Nothing to do with.
I understand that 100%, Celie, and this is why I have this question, right? And this is not me taking a position. This is just a question I'm posing for the sake of conversation. Is there any responsibility for people on the other side to not I'll say this. Okay, yeah, we don't know that she's a doctor for sure. And we can honestly say that based on some of the behaviors that she's demonstrated and the things that she has stated would call into question the validity of her being a doctor, right? Like, I think it's fair to say that. So, is there a responsibility for us, the people who are not Dr. Duchess, to maybe hold a little more sacred things that are sensitive to us, that we are not um aligning or attaching to a stranger online? Because here's the thing, the reason I'm saying that is when you think about how easy it is to scam people, I think the foundation is we're not fact checking, we're not validating, we are um I can't think of my, I got so many thoughts in my head right now.
I
Let me
wanna
make a long
wanna
story
jump
short.
in. Dr. Duchess said, hold on. She said, um, something about content. Hold on. Y'all just using me for content. Um, I wouldn't say it's using you. I would say you. Oh, you're not talking about me. Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, Dr. Duchess, once you become a character on the app,
There's that
then
elitist
it's
thing
open
again.
for everyone to discuss whatever you display on this app. So if Mrs. Sweet end up coming up here on accident and we see her or we hear her using the bathroom or something, we can have a discussion about that. As soon as you enter the room and you make yourself known and you're on a platform or a panel and you are as dynamic of a character as you are, you're gonna be the content. So you gotta know that that's what's happening.
Yep,
You
until we
definitely know
milk
that you're
it.
gonna be.
Hold on, Poco. I gotta get this out. There's that elitist thing again that I be talking about. We're up here on Susu's panel. So if it were being used for content, the only person who could use it for content would be the content creator, Susu. So the fact that you would come off your fingers and say that everybody but Susu is using it for content, it's because you don't want Susu on your ass. Because you know that her words ring bells because this is her panel. You look and sound crazy. If Susu didn't want the conversation to be had for the content for tonight's live on her live, the only person who could stop it would be Susu. So if you were being used for content, it would be only by Susu. Now you old, but you ain't dumb. This is what I be talking about.
Yeah, but to be honest, she knows she's the content. I told her yesterday, girl, you that girl. Girl, everybody talking about you. So she already knows she's the content. I think, she just down there doing her thing. She down there. Trying to
I sure hope you get an allowance because I'm sick of it at this point. Let me go clean some clothes.
don't
Bye,
play with
y'all.
me. AJ, don't play with me. That's not even
Okay.
funny. I don't hold on one second.
Okay.
I don't appreciate the disrespect because as you know, I'm good. Pocket's good. Don't need it. But I don't really appreciate that at all. And since you did it on the front end, I'm going to say it on the front end. Because I have a differing opinion than you, and I'm willing to see things from all aspects and all sides of things. It does not mean I need her pockets because I never needed her pockets. In fact, I don't need no one's pockets here. I'm good. Money's pretty good over here. So I don't appreciate that. That little spin, the little digs, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. I don't think it's fair. Because this lady hasn't even sent me nothing. And I don't want her to. I already told her don't send me shit. So I'm not in my personal about it. I'm having a discussion. And we're all allowed to have our own opinions on any type of topic whenever we want. I don't sit there and try to take a dig at you because you may move or feel something differently than I do. And there have been many instances where you and I have not agreed. I don't sit there and be like, oh, you need to be on her payroll or I hope you get an allowance. I think you need to save that shit for the bitches in the street. Don't do me. Anybody else want to talk?
Yeah, and I think I want to be clear that we're not endorsing Dr. Dutch's behavior. Like both Susu and I have said, like we don't agree with it, we wouldn't do it. And one thing that I can appreciate about having these conversations is it's hard to find spaces where you can have good faith, honest conversations where we just deal with the facts and reality. One thing that I really liked and I really give you credit for yesterday, Susu, when we were, was it yesterday? So much done happened, child. You've been hosting these lives. But when we were doing the deep dive on our government informant, and we were talking about that app where you guys go to pull the lives, right? And we initially were saying no, they usually start from the beginning, right? But it was like when the facts showed that other people's lives were not starting from the beginning, we kind of debunked our own assessment. That's what I call like good, sound, evidence-based conclusions. Like if we're gonna be messy, at least have the evidence to support the mess, right? And so that's one thing that I will say separates your messy space, which is not fully a messy space, honestly, I don't think so. But that well, it can be anyway. But that separates your messy space from other messy spaces is that it's a credible messy space, right? And so the world that we live in, it's a dynamic world, right? People as humans, we are multi-layered, and that's why I made a point to say I'm not denying any of the negative attributes that we have seen or that those people could consider negative attributes of Dr. Duchess, but at the same time, let's not invalidate the positive ones. We have to take the entire pie, every piece of it, and we that's the whole point I think that a lot of people are missing. Once we see the slices and what they come with, you choose what piece you want. If you got a piece of mold on that slice on the other side, don't eat that piece. If you want to choose, if some people were liking, I'm using her laugh for instance. We don't like the elitism, but a lot of people liked her laugh, right? A lot of people liked her sense of humor, right? So people, let's choose. choose the positivity. It's a choice. And if you don't want the pie at all because it's not your flavor, you ain't got to eat the damn pie. Get out of the pie's inbox. Stop asking the pie for money. Don't be vulnerable with the pie. Moving forward. That's all I'm saying.
So when I was recapping Dr. Duchess, I was recapping her without having a conversation with her, right? So I'm taking the situations in these recaps for what they are. And she was very demeaning, very elitist, very rude, all of those things. I felt like she was very unprofessional, all of those things. And then when we had that conversation without the defensiveness in this panel, I got to kind of hear her out in some situations. And in some situations, she was fucked up. And I had to, kind of hold her feet to the fire. And she accepted that and took whatever accountability she needed to take for those situations. Not saying that takes away from the what she did, right? And the effect that it had, or, how someone may perceive her from here on out. But she did stand in it, right? And in some situations, she didn't. And in some situations, we agreed. And in some situations, I still think it was fucked up. You know what I mean? But I was able to have that conversation directly with her to get an understanding of my questions that I had directly from her. And so I can see things from all angles because a lot of people hold me to a certain standard, especially when I started this platform and I said, no doxing, no talking about families, no talking about children. Everybody take a lap when you get there. And then I held myself to a certain standard and I ended up going back on my word because why? Somebody had me fucked up. So now here I am doxing your whole entire family, where you live and everything that you got going on. The whole entire everything. I'm talking about your children and all of the sorts. So I understand that things are layered and I understand that it's worth having a conversation. But I ain't sucking Dr. Dutch's dick. I ain't tell her to come here. She here because she want to be. Just like she came in yesterday. So I'm sorry if I'm a little stuck on what AJ said, but AJ got me fucked up right now. AJ got me fucked up right now. Because I'm allowed to have my own experience in a conversation with someone and then see things from all angles. That's all.
Want to say, Celie, I agree with what you said. I want to be clear about that. Sometimes I don't think I do the best at articulating myself, and because I think sometimes it can be confusing to people hearing me because I can see things from other people's perspective. And this goes back to what I say: respect does not require agreement. So I can respect you as an individual and how you present yourself. That's just who I am as a person, right? And I want to you, for instance, AJ. I'm going to use AJ for example, right? I also think AJ is very intelligent. I also think I actually thoroughly enjoy listening to AJ speak. But when AJ is on that tip with people and she's taking it to hell, I hate that. It makes me sad. It is like I don't like it at all. But I'm never going to tell AJ that or even challenge AJ in how she interacts with people on here because then I'm gonna have to negate when she's provoked. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, because the same has been said about AJ with her being a nurse. How many times have people been saying, I can't believe she's a nurse and she's on here doing this and doing that? But guess what? Ain't nobody on here her patient. She's not providing care. She's not on here in that capacity. I mean, a janitor, sorry. But the same, it's a similar situation. And so I deal with the pie. When AJ is not on that tip, when she's not arguing and going back and forth with people, I can enjoy. I love AJ. I can hear her talk all day. I love it when she, breaks stuff down, even when she put her fricker on it. Sometimes I don't like the fricker because I like the evidence to support the conclusion. AJ don't always do that, but what I do, I don't take it personal. I gloss over it, and then I take it for what it is, where it is. And I think that's my responsibility as a person who has made the decision to get on my phone that I paid a bill on and scroll in to a live on Messy Talk because we know what this side has, right? And so I respect your right, Susu, to do what you want to do when you want to in your space. I respect everybody, anybody, everybody. I don't have to agree with it to respect your right as a human. And in the words of Leola, as an American, to say what you want to say and do what you want to do. If there are consequences to be had, I'll leave that up to the authorities who have the right to enforce. I ain't got it. And if it's too much for me, I can get off of the phone that I pay the bill on.
And that's the only thing that I've been trying to drive home. Sorry, Celia, I'm gonna just jump in. Um, that's the only thing I've been trying to drive home is that we cannot control anyone's actions on the internet. We can only control our engagement with it. So if you don't like it, don't engage. And in the end, you can feel however you want to feel, but if somebody don't give a fuck about how they're presenting themselves, there's nothing we can do about that except for have the conversation about the dangers of it. That's all we can do. Go ahead, Celie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, I think we're on the same page, Polka. I think we're saying the same thing. And I just have to like literally just take the doctor out of it and just, I mean, what other choice do you have, right? Like she's literally said she don't give a fuck what you're going to do about it. She don't care. I don't think it's right. I don't think even if when she retires, I don't think her obligation as a doctor ceases, right? You see someone on a plane, you're a retired doctor, they're in cardiac arrest. You don't turn the other cheek and say, I'm retired, right? You step into action, right? But that's not what she's doing. And that's just that, right? I mean, you just got to be entertained by it. I think it's totally entertaining, right? I think she learned her lesson. Don't read the DMs, right? Because just don't, right? But on the other end of it, fuck it. I like people running around kissing her ass. I've seen several people do it. It's funny. It's entertaining. And I just have to just be entertained because again, we have a lot of therapists on here, nurses. I won't say medical doctors. I don't know about that, but we do have some PhDs up in here and they all act a fool and no one says shit. So same shit. I mean, I'm not saying shit else. Do what you want to do. That's just shit. Bye y'all.
That's all. Like I think when we have the conversation and it circles and it circles and it circles and it circles and we get to the bottom of it, she gonna do whatever the fuck she wanna do. And I'm not asking her for professional help. And if it's that much of an issue, the way that she acts and moves on this app, then I just don't engage with her.
And don't nobody else ask her for professional help moving forward. That's the whole thing.
The awareness that the conversation we should have. Staying away from medical professionals that you feel do not align with the ethics that they and the role that they have taken on in their profession. You know? What that's the real question. Stay away from exposing your personal information to these people. From here on out, do not seek any medical professionals from Messy Talk. Don't do it. I'll even go a further step. If you don't trust someone, or if you don't want your messages to be exposed, do not send someone a message. Stay out of their DMs. Unless you just stay out of their DMs because it's their right if they want to expose it. We see it happen all the time. People pull their receipts all the time. If you don't want to be someone whose personal information, personal situations are being exposed, don't do it. But if you are willing to ask for the help and not care that this person may flip and expose you, then put yourself out there because sometimes we are in dire need of help. Go in the DM and not give a fuck if it's put out there. Because that's what comes with it. It's always a possibility that you will be exposed. This lady is telling y'all, I'm doing all this shit so y'all leave me alone and y'all don't ask me for nothing. And I find it contradicting sometimes because she does lead with her money, but she leads with her money with who she wants. And I don't get it. But that's how she wants to move on the fucking internet. It's her fucking phone. I don't know what to do about it. Like,
and Susu, I think
you
another
know?
conversation that may be beneficial is because a lot of times when we have conversations about vetting, we make it exclusive to like relationships. But the reality is, a lot of us need to put the brakes on and we need to apply vetting and learn how to vet in friendships and in any interaction that we are engaging with people new. Because for me, before I would make myself vulnerable and even give somebody the ammunition to possibly use against me, I need to be able to come to a conclusion about who you are by watching your behavior. So if this was a person who, let's say, I saw um, the interaction between her and T Money or her and Dr. Duchess, right? Because it happens in clips. That's how we see people in clips. Is that somebody that I'm going to go to and be like, hey, I know you're a mental health professional. I've seen you act crazy on this app, but let me trust my most vulnerable, which I should be holding sacred. Like, when does the responsibility go onto the people that's seeking out to her, in terms of how they proceed?
I think it's very important to vet your medical professionals, your dentist, your general practitioner, your psychiatrist, your psychologist. Do your research and find someone who aligns with you and preferably not involved in any of your past times like messy talk or your personal life. Go and find someone who aligns with what you need and has no connection to your personal life. That is my advice.
Yeah. And it's so easy to
I don't even know what you're talking about, Alley Cat. What are you talking about?
it's so easy to scam people, and again, on the internet. And I think people, we all to be mindful, just like we all discovered that we had a government asset with us and we had no clue. We don't know who these people, anybody could be anything on social media, and you have to proceed with that type of suspicion. So just because you say you're this, you say you're that, what about the guy that has been on Nitra's platform? What was that guy who, remember when Good Yellow went down to the courthouse and he was saying he was an international humanitarian?
My
What did
president,
he? No, is it that guy?
President Jackson.
I don't know if it was him or if they have another one. They have so many different people that come through. Okay, it was Mr. President, and he told Good Yellow that he was gonna get him $1 million lawsuit because they put him out of the courtroom.
Insane.
And you get that blind faith, that trusting people because they say who you are. Now, how are you an international humanitarian advocate for people and you talking about the Fourth Amendment? Good Yellow's Fourth Amendment right was violated because they put him out the courthouse. You get what I'm saying? Like, people can be anything on this app.
Insane. I'm leaning on the doc ain't a doc either, but that ain't my business too. But I'm nosy and I don't. I think she's a doctor. I just don't think she's a psychologist. But if she says she is, and she's moving that way, and she don't care, nothing I could do about that. There's nothing I could do about that.
Yeah, it
So
was John Badger. And then you go and look up John Badger, you Google, and the first thing that come up is a news article about him refusing to leave out of a place that he was evicted from. And was it 9 dead cats or chickens that was found in the yard? Like,
yeah, I think it's kind of like what you were saying, Poga, earlier. Like, you have to take what people, I think people are taking what she's saying she is, and then her actions are something different, right? Like, she's saying she's a 40-year professional, right? But her actions, right, aren't giving that. So I think that we also have some responsibility, right, to look at the actions and not just the credential or, what she's saying she is, as opposed to like what she's actually doing. And they don't align, right? In this scenario, they don't align on the app, at least. That's all I
mhm.
can see is on the app. They're not aligning, right? So I do think like people do need to be careful in just how they move and trust on this app when it comes to what people say they are, and then just actually looking at the actions, right? And her actions align with a bunch of messy shit. So she's where she belongs when it comes to like her actual actions, right? Like,
Right.
it just is what it is.
Because you're saying everything I'm
Yep. That's
Okay.
it. That's why we were saying, like, deal with
I sat
reality.
back and I thought about the conversation we had, and I thought about all the recaps of everything I say to Dutch, and that's just Dutch to me at this point. Like, girl, I'm not
At
even
this
gonna
point.
go deep about you being all of that stuff because I have my doubts, and in the end, you're gonna act a fool on this app because you want to, and when you don't, you don't. Uh, I think
Right.
you're fucked up for a lot of things. We've discussed that.
Hmm.
I think you're fucked up for a lot of things. A lot of shit is fucked up what you did. But shit, what the fuck I'm gonna do about it? Like, in the end, except for ask her to take accountability for the fucked up things that she's done. I can only directly ask you, yeah, that was fucked up as a human being. Because I don't even want
Right.
to talk about the stuff because that's a whole other thing. As a human being, I think you're fucked up for doing this and that. She could say, I don't give a fuck about what you think. Or she could say, Susu, you're right. And that's it. We had a conversation and that's it. Like, what can I do? If she's a fucked up person in her real life, then there's avenues for her to be held accountable for that outside of the internet. But right
Right.
now, what the fuck can I do? Okay.
Other
Like,
than block her.
other than say you fucked up, Dutch, and that's fucked up. When the way you spoke to that person was fucked up, and what you did to that person was fucked up. All I can do is give my opinion on it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And I think it's because she came over here as a doctor, right? Not as just as a person who is a doctor. She came over here as a doctor, right? So I don't know. I think it is a little different, but at the same time, what the fuck we gonna do about it? Like she
That's
always
really what it
like,
boils down to, Seely.
huh?
Dr. Seely, I say that's really all it boils down to is, well, we don't have no authority. We don't have no control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
like
can't take
whether
her
we.
phone. I can't make her log off a messy talk.
Mm-hmm. And like she said, like, what are we gonna do? And the people who actually have power to do something about it, she don't really care. I mean, she don't care. She says she don't care. So I mean, I could say it in Tom Blue in the face, right? I don't agree. I feel like it's wrong if if she's presenting herself as a doctor. But at the same time, again, fuck we gonna do about it?
That's all we were saying, you know? And then for me,
Michael
outside
made a
of,
great point. Michael made a great point. Michael said, I think even without the pretending PhD, her actions and behavior would be deemed messed up
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
exactly,
Right. I think it's
exactly.
just another layer on top of it. But at the end of the day, you could put 10, 20 layers on it on the internet. And what are we really going to do? The only one that's going to have to, I mean, hopefully she's the only one that's going to be, held accountable and have consequences if there are consequences to be had. So I don't know. I can't do shit. I mean, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse because that's exactly what it is. And it is what it is. Like I said, it's entertaining. Keep on taking them through there. All right, bye.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes me think about too, like how, I learned my lesson in trying to have
Be
people
there no more, Doctor. Don't act that way no more to people, and you're gonna do what you want. But I'm putting it on the record. Don't be treating people like you did that therapist and LT and everybody else's. Unless
Mm-hmm.
somebody probably do something to you first, then I mean, don't justify
Mm-hmm.
being fucked up. But I can understand. But just don't do those bad things and the readings of the stuff. Go ahead, Poco.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, I learned my lesson over here because there was a circumstance where I hosted a live um, about HB, right? And I was talking about the bigger implication of her behavior in saying falsely accused men of rape, right? And how dangerous that was for women in general, like actual victims, right? Because you get what I'm saying. And most of these people on Messy Talk, they did not care. And you get what? So it goes back to we all have a responsibility. We all have behaviors that could negatively impact more than just us, right? So you get online and you're telling women to lie and say men raped you, set them up. That's what she said in the thing. And so when I hosted my live, I was challenging women to like stop supporting her and deplatform that, because that is a threat to actual victims. Like, we already have a hard time with having people take when our complaints against that type of behavior seriously, right? That's why we're saying believe the victim, believe the victim. And so when you have somebody who get on here who's saying that, you know, it's dangerous, nobody cared, nobody took it serious. I mean, I'm not gonna say nobody, that's an exaggeration, and exaggerating is lie. I'll say it was a very minimal amount of people who actually agreed with me and supported it, right? But it wasn't enough. She even came in and was laughing and was joking about how they still gonna pay her for, you know, her antics on here, and she's not gonna stop doing it as long as they paying her. And we here 2-3 years later, and the truth is the truth. Even after the egregious occurrence that happened, people are still not going to not engage with her platform, because everybody has their people. And I think that's the for me, I had to deal with the reality. Did I go through it? I did go through my phases of blocking people who engaged with her and all that kind of stuff. And then guess what? I had to go back on my word. You get what I'm saying? And even just like deal with messy talk is messy talk. And I can't have a higher expectation of behaviors over here than this is just what it is. And that's the whole point. The reality is the reality. It's going to be people who we going to tolerate a lot of BS over here. We have tolerated a lot of BS. I'm not anymore. I've actually started blocking a lot of people. But our tolerance for BS is very heavy over here. I can't expect people to have upstanding behaviors as citizens, as women, as mothers, as parents, as elders, right? We can say, y'all, the older women need to act better. They need to be better examples. But the reality is they not. They gonna do the most cussing. They gonna do the most. You get what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So you either gonna like it or you not. Period. It's the onus is on the comment cousins. The onus is on us as people who engage. You either gonna engage or you're not. Like, I even learned to stop holding people to a standard of, well, I would expect for you to be like this because you're this and that. No, you can't. It's messy talk. There's no accountability. There's nothing. I can't do nothing. I have no authority. It's nothing. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. It's the Wild Wild West. You're either going to be entertained or you're not. I
And
rest my
quite
case.
literally, yeah, yeah. It's a ring around the rosy with that one. And we're just gonna keep on talking
So
about the same points. Go ahead.
yeah, no, because I just think that now I'm just thinking more and more, and I think just like the conversation, like I said last night, just had me like thinking a little bit more, right? Because it was in a space where she wasn't going to be coddled necessarily, right? And the conversations were going to be had, and they were had, right? So it just made me look at it like obligation as opposed to mm, she's not obligated, right? But the expectation, I guess, is there, right? Maybe not the obligation, but the expectation. So I guess I think people just need to lower the expectation of professionals on this side of the app or on the internet in general, right? In certain spaces. And I just think that I think my expectations were higher, but her obligation really isn't there when you really think about it, because it's kind of impossible to be obligated. I mean, you would expect her to, but you can't be obligated to save everybody on the internet, right? But I think the expectation is still there. But
I think that I hate to cut you off, but I think that everyone is entitled to have whatever level of expectation they want to have for someone who presents themselves as a professional.
Mhm.
So I don't agree with the lowering our expectations, because we should regard our Black professionals, especially women. We should have those expectations for them
right,
in professions. We should. That is a
right.
fact. Now,
That's right. I'm sorry. I
to say,
misspoke.
yeah, but no, you didn't misspeak. I mean, it's fine. Like, if you feel like maybe we should, because I can see that side too. But I choose to keep my expectations for these professionals high.
Yeah, I won't lower the expectation, but I think that there's a difference between the obligation and the expectation. I expect her to, but I'm looking at it as if she's obligated to, right? But I still expect a doctor to act, whether they're on vacation, they're retired, or they can't stand you. You know what I'm saying? Because there is the obligation there. So the expectation is also there, right? But there is a difference, I think. So I don't know. I just think
Then
there's
people can
really,
take a different point of view and be like, well, I come here, like T said, I come here for entertainment, so I have no
mm-hmm,
expectations for no one. Um,
mm-hmm,
some of us have more respect for certain professions than others do. Like some people care to have those expectations, some people don't. Some people say, I don't give a damn if you're a doctor or if you're poor as shit. At the end of the day, if you're a doctor, duchess, or a good yellow, I don't care. I'm here to be entertained, and y'all all on the same level with me. And then there are others who are like, no, the internet is real life for me too. So if I hear that you're a doctor of some sorts, I do have these expectations for you, considering the title that you hold. I just different strokes for different folks. It depends on how you approach your interactions on the internet.
right,
You either take these people seriously or you don't. That's how I see
right,
it.
right.
And Celie, I think you're actually spot on because I do believe that having an expectation for certain jobs or profession, it's inherent, right? I mean, this is we are automatically going to have a mental impression when we hear any position. If I hear you're a police, there's going to be an expectation in my mind. If I hear you're a lawyer, there's going to be an expectation. If I hear you, it's that's inherent. That's just the reality of what it is. And so I think that's why the onus is on the person to vet and make an assessment, right? So you can have an expectation of a person who presents themselves as a certain profession, but you also got to watch and see how they conduct themselves, right? Because even in that, again, in a space where anybody can say and be anything, just because you say you're this, that don't mean you are this. So now I'm holding you to a standard that you're not even qualified to actually be in, and I have no way to validate whether you are or not.
Right.
So I don't think we should lower the expectations. And you did clarify that, and I just want to reinforce it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm acknowledging that I heard that you did say that.
Right.
We don't need to lower the expectations. I think we just need to. It's so easy for us to conflate and put everything in the same pot when it's better, and we would operate with more accuracy if we compartmentalized, right? So if this person presents as a psychologist, I have an expectation, right, of what I deem a psychologist behavior that would be appropriate in this space, right? But I'm watching this person and I'm seeing that your behaviors are not in alignment with what my expectation is. So boom, I'm gonna fall back a little bit off of you. I'm not going to lower my expectation for the standard of how people should act based on that one individual. I'm gonna deal with you with as how you present yourself. Because keep in mind, even when it comes to like judges, even people at the end of the day, before they go to school and get these credentials and get the training, they're still human. So there
Right.
are physicians who are drugged out. you know Actually, I knew a neurosurgeon who lost his medical license, and he was ordering drugs off of the black market, right? A neurosurgeon getting up, going in, doing surgery on people under the influence. Does that mean I lower the expectation or the standard of conduct for other neurosurgeons? No, it means for this C-Rack head, I deal with him based on how he present himself and what he has going on. And so there is a time to conflate, and then there's a time to compartmentalize. And so when we have people who we are having the one-on-one experience with, that's the time to compartmentalize. So I'm not going to and unfortunately, and this is the danger of people leading with their profession, because most of society does not take the time to critically think like that. And so that's the danger, is because you create distrust in the community when you know what I mean? When you come
Yes.
in with that hat. I get that. I'm not negating that. And all of it is true. You know what I'm saying? These are not mutually exclusive concepts. But we just have to deal with things like cross that bridge when we get to it. So we're dealing with this person right now who said that this, we have this expectation, but this is the behavior that they're displaying. Let's take it for what it is here and now. Understand, people, that this is not endorsing, this is not justifying, but our feelings do not alter reality.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people kind of miss the mark on TikTok. That's what I notice in these spaces. Though I may feel that something should be a certain way, or somebody should have said this way or done this that way, that does not alter reality. The reality is this is where they're at. And I'm just using Dr. Duchess as an example. We feel she should have better conduct, right? But the reality is this lady done said over and over and over again, she don't give an F. And who gonna make her? We can't. So the only thing we can do is don't hold her to that standard. Moving right along. If I need a therapist, we have seen that therapists operate in that professional space, in that capacity to have therapeutic lives. So that's another behavior that we can compare, where it has been conducive for people, where it has been edifying for people, where I would have deemed it a mentally safe space. We have, for instance, Poetic RN, who and I'm just, for the sake of comparison, there are multiple like nurses on this side of TikTok, right? Or people who work in that capacity of healthcare. And some of them you're going to see cussing out, go acting the fool, doing this, doing that, right? But we don't see that a lot of times with Poetic RN, and she actually holds spaces and lives for health, wellness, information, and so it's just like, let's stop holding people to where we think they should be in our mind, and let's start dealing with the reality of what they present with, right?
Exactly.
And so if you need a safe space to go get information, you can go to Poetic RN. If you need, you know what I mean? Like, just, we have a responsibility to do the thinking, and this is, I'm not saying this to anybody specifically. I'm just saying this is my assessment of the general population. A lot of us are lazy. We're lazy thinkers. We don't want to do the critical thinking. We don't want to have the responsibility of our lives and our decisions. And it's easier to put it off on other people. But guess what? As adults, we got to do it, because it's how you protect yourself, right? And so if people were more mindful, if people were more judicious in doing their due diligence to protect themselves, they wouldn't have exposed their vulnerabilities to Dr. Duchess. It's accountability to be had on both sides. I don't disagree with anybody that said that she's wrong for the reasons that they say that she's wrong. But also on the other side, as people, I'm gonna be a little more sacred with the things that matter to me, right? So I don't know. That's it. I hate it when I be talking on and on and on.
No, you're fine. I'm going to end it here, you guys, because it's about 2 p.m. I'm going to take my babies out for a day outside. Probably go meet my best friend. This was such a good conversation. I enjoyed it. Some of it. I appreciate you guys for sharing y'all's thoughts, y'all's opinions on the topic. Dr. Duchess, thanks for engaging in the comments as well. It was good to hear your answers to some of the things we're talking about up here. And I hope the streets are on fire tonight. Thank you, Bella. Y'all have a wonderful morning. Is it morning?
Yeah.
It's like 3:00 in the morning where I am.
Girl, I don't know what day, what time. I don't never know what it is anymore, right?
I'm like, it's 2 a.m. Where's she going at 2 a.m.?
It's 2 p.m. for me. I'm sorry. So, y'all have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful day. It's Monday. I think some of y'all are already back to work and school and stuff like that. But I will see y'all later. Maybe tonight for me, which is afternoon for you guys. There might be some good old tea in the streets. There could be some mess going on. So we'll find ourselves here.
Get back into some.
You said what, Polka?
I want to get back into. I really like the Messy Talk Mystery Lives.
Me too.
So I'm gonna see if that stuff be fun. So I'm gonna see if I can.
Yapping, and Miesta was in the damn request, and then he took it out. Oh, no problem. He took his request back out, and I was like, damn, I wanted to get him up here, but I don't know, y'all. I think I kind of sat down. He told me to stand down. I might have took a little squat.
We got distracted because I want to know what case he working on.
I want to know nothing. Let me get down.
That's in a row on us. He finna get my ass. I know he is. baby.
What's this?
But
I better
yes,
be careful. I'm in his same
these are
state. I'm gonna be
so
quiet.
fun. I swear, I love it. I enjoy it, and me and we ain't forget about you. We coming back for you, okay?
We just got
Krista,
you
I'm
on
so
pause.
Krista been stuck on that clip. Well, forget about it. At this point, we done discussed it. Forget about it. We already knew Nitra was gonna do that one thing. It's fine. She did that one thing. It's all good. I don't really give a fuck. I already knew it was gonna happen, but Polka, I appreciate your thoughts and opinions. Everybody that came on the panel, I do appreciate y'all. I hope she don't think she had protection over here. Ain't nobody protected over here. This is the wild, wild common cousin corner. Everybody, it's a damn free for all, okay? Shit, it's a free for all on me. My ops be in here motherfucking talking shit to me or on the panel sometimes. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, there's that. I will see y'all later. I'm gonna go enjoy myself.
Enjoy
She gonna
yourself. Enjoy
learn
your
about the space,
babies.
y'all. Everybody's space is different. She gonna get to learn the space. If she knows she in here, it ain't she good. I love y'all down. Thank you, Polka. Good night. Thank you, Krista. Good night. Thank you for 60.3K test. Thank y'all for 1.3K people in this fan club. Thank y'all for getting me to number 16 in the B2 league. We're moving up. We're about to be in A league, y'all. We're getting there. Thank y'all for all the completed live goals, all of your heart me's. I appreciate each and every one of y'all from top to bottom. I gotta go. My daughter's knocking on the door. I'll see y'all later. Bye. I gotta go. My daughter's knocking on the door. I'll see y'all later. Bye.